Hello guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel after such a long time. We had been sharing our family journey, but on the way we just stopped because of some commitments. But now we're back and ready to share more of it with you guys. Okay, so we're just going to ease into it for some videos over some time, and today I just want to talk about my experience having a C-section. I think I've done a video before about my natural birth experience. This time I've come back with another video about my C-section experience. Okay, so let's get into it. First of all, I'm going to talk about how my C-section came about, and I have to say guys, my experience was quite intense. So obviously it's not the same experience for everyone, but you know, someone might actually relate to what I went through, or it might help someone who hasn't gone through it. Okay, so I'll just start by telling you guys about the day that I went to the hospital. Okay, so we were out of Harare, and you know, I knew that my due date was in 5 days, so I wasn't really worried about anything. I was just walking around, you know, trying to get ready for the delivery date. And there's a time, like I'd gone to my gynae 3 days before that day, and on that day, on that same day that I came from the gynae, I mean, you guys, I don't know, but I don't really believe in, I'm not like someone who believes in, you know, kuroiwa and stuff, but I don't know, you know. I just thought about it because I didn't have any explanation. I come from the gynae, right? The cartoons, everything is fine and all that. And this person comes, she's kind of like a stranger, so, you know, but she used to just come through who area ikoko TV, so we're just like acquaintances, I could say. She gave me a hug, like we're not even like close, she could my hugs, but she gave me a hug and I was like, okay. And then after that she rubbed my belly button, but I didn't think much of it at the time. And then after some time passed, I started feeling some pain, her belly button in purple, and I just thought, you know, maybe it's like the physical aspect of it, and maybe it's just painful because of, you know, that touching, right? From that time on, you know, like I said, I was expecting to deliver in 5 days. I wasn't really feeling any contractions. Like with my previous pregnancy, I would feel contractions. I was feeling contractions about a week before I went to give birth. But this time I wasn't feeling any contractions, and I felt like I couldn't feel the baby kicking or anything, but I wasn't really worried because I said, good, since gynae, you know, everything is fine. I'm going to give birth after 5 days. So on that same day, I then went to bath, and when I bathed, I just saw something weird, like some discharge and all that. So yeah, that really alarmed me because I was told that there are some alarm signs that you're supposed to like take note of if you're really in pain, or if you start bleeding, or if your waters break. And I don't think my waters broke as such, but it was kind of like a bit of bleeding, I guess. So I just decided we should go to the hospital because I wasn't feeling the contractions. That's when I was worried now. I'm not feeling the contractions, and now there's this. I'm not used to it. I never got this in my first pregnancy, right? So we drove to Harare and we went to the hospital. And when we got in, you know, like per front desk, she was komawire and all that, and she was something happened. She was, are you in labor? And I was like, no, I'm not in labor, but you know, I got a discharge. And you know, when a per front desk, they just thought, you know, since you're not in labor, you're just going to be told something and come out, right? But they let me in, and I went to the nurse, and they used this, I think, this fetal monitoring thing, right? They put it on my belly, and it was, they were checking for fetal heart rate, and when they checked the fetal heart rate, they said the baby is in distress. So the baby is in respiratory distress, meaning that right? Or the heart rate was getting very low. Like, it's not supposed to do that, but that's what it was doing, right? So then Vanda turns, you have to go in for an emergency C-section. Guys, I'm telling you, there's nothing as scary as just being told emergency. I mean, I think that is better when you've planned for the C-section, you know, you've planned mentally and, you know, all that. But the word emergency, guys, you know, my walls just shattered, and I thought to myself, what could be going on? You know, they told me the baby must be restrained in some kind of way, like that umbilical cord could be around her neck, and I was just devastated. I can't explain it. And my husband was also, he didn't take it well, and it didn't make it any better for me. Because he was also scared what was going to happen. You know, he was asking, can we still save the baby? Is the mother going to be okay? Can we save both of them? I mean, guys, the word emergency just is not fine. Anyways, we had to wait for my doctor because she wasn't around. So they prepared me, you know, I went into the hospital clothes, and I waited like for theater. So whilst I waited, I was supposed to get the anesthetic here, the injection to make you like numb, so that I wouldn't feel anything. Excuse me. During the procedure. So this was around 6 p.m. and time you know, the hospital in Andiri, it's in Rua. So my doctor was in town because she has another branch there. And traffic, Yeku Rua side, I'm sure if anyone knows about that traffic, it can be hectic because it's a highway. And you know, I was just anxious and waiting. Whilst you're anxious and you're pregnant, guys, it was bad. And I had my other kid with me. She was 2, and she was also crying, and you know, bata and all that in the hospital. And the dad couldn't just like leave me. You know, my nurses, but you need to go out with the child. And yeah, so he had to call my mom so that she comes and picks up the child and him. I think an hour passed, and I was still there. Decided to do an injection because I couldn't get it EPABO before we knew Kuti, the gyna was close. So yeah, I then went into the theater, right? Banda Gari Swapasi. You know, guys, that injection is painful. Mine was very, very, very painful. And the doctor didn't get it the first time, so I had to get like 3, 4 jabs. 3, 4 jabs into my spine, and nothing was working because sometimes it would go pabonzo and so yes, like the thing is, sometimes when you're pregnant, right, it's not just the tummy that gets big. I also had like back fat there, so I guess that's why it was hard to like locate the spine and where the injection was actually supposed to go. So they had me bend over, and then finally injection, yeah, it worked. And after it worked, I couldn't feel my legs, from the waist upwards. I could feel everything, like everything was normal, but from the waist downwards, I was so numb and I couldn't feel anything there. So what they do is they put this curtain thing between per waist level pago. So you're lying down and they put it per waist level pago, so you can't see what's going on down there, like beneath your waist, you can't see what's going on. So finally the gyna came and they saw my drip, all over, and all those medications that they're supposed to put, and they started the C-section. So I could just feel like a bit of pressure. There's kind of maybe tearing happening down there, but I couldn't feel like any pain. I couldn't feel anything else besides, that pressure. Then something happened during my C-section. All right. So there was this sign on my right side, Tengegan's exit. And I remember that sign vividly because when I think about that moment, I see that sign. I was looking at that sign, right, and my head just started pounding, like so bad. Like, guys, in my life, and sometimes I've had migraines before, but that pain, guys, my head was pounding. And vandatanga uti musoro wangu, guys, when you think you're about to die, when you think you're about to die, you just, I don't know, I started reliving like my whole life and thinking about where I'm now going. I said a prayer. I thought that was my last prayer, because the other thing about C-section, before I continue, is no one really prepares you for it. Maybe if you do get the chance to be told that you're going to go in for a C-section, someone actually explained to you what might happen or what happens right during the procedure. But for me, no one had actually like educated me before, like at a personal level. Yeah, which is not just something from the book or anything, auntie. Like at a personal level, this is what you go through. People just make it seem like it's this really scary experience that you don't want to go through, but honestly, I feel like a lot needs to be said about C-section, because these days, most people that I actually know have gone through C-section. I don't know why it's so common these days, but it's something that needs to be talked about. Anyways, I actually thought I was making my last prayer and all that, and maybe I was, maybe God revived me, I don't know. Anyways, I heard them saying kuti blood pressure, yeah, that's what was causing my headache. And then they put in some medication and it subsided, bit by bit, until I was fine. And after that, after some 5 minutes, I heard the baby crying. It was, just a soft cry. It was so soft. I didn't know if I had heard it or not. So ndakabva ndabvunza, is she fine? Is she crying? And she said yes. You know, oh, before that, actually, she said there's a cord around her neck, like when she was taking her out. Then Bandazo, is she crying? Then she said, yes, the baby is fine. Ndoba Totora, Ndoba and Ranai, right, to wherever they take the babies to clean her up and all that. And as for me, I was just, you know, like I said, Gucci, my waist down was numb. And I was just, you know, I wasn't ready for this day. And I felt like my body wasn't ready also. And I feel like when you get a C-section, like if I'm comparing with natural birth, right, your body isn't really like, your body doesn't really know what just happened. Because when I got my natural birth, like after that, I was okay. Like kutovibe up, I feel like now I'm starting to recover and all that. But when I got my C-section, I felt like the baby was still supposed to be there. Maybe it's just a mental thing, but it also physically, I felt like my body also wasn't ready. Gucci, this is the time that the baby was supposed to come out, or we're now taking out the baby. So yeah, I would say that, you know, the recovery was kind of slower than the natural birth one, and the pain was a bit more. The pain was a bit more than the natural birth one, because now you have to take care of the scar. But one thing I have to say is, in terms of C-section scars, that's not something to worry about. I mean, at least if you have a good gynae, I guess, who can like switch a wall, because as for me, you can barely see the scar. But I've seen C-section scars from before, which were like straight up down, right, and vertical. Nowadays, or maybe some gynaes like mine just do it horizontally, and it's really subtle. So the scar isn't anything to worry about afterwards. But you know, just taking care of a wound is, it's quite, you know, difficult. And yeah, that's what I can say about recovery, yes, C-section as compared to the natural birth one. And then the other thing is, you know, when you get a C-section, right, the pain management is a bit more intense than natural birth. So you get mama pills, you know, the hard stuff, the hard painkillers, you know, and all that. But anyways, after that, I was okay. Like if I had to choose, like between natural birth and C-section, maybe it's now because I went through the C-section. I mean, if I now have to choose for my next pregnancy, I would choose the C-section, because you know, it's been done before, and I now have the scar anyways. So I mean, why not just, you know, get the C-section done, because I don't have to go through the pain the pain of contractions, the pain in labor, right? Because that pain is bad. So yeah, I think overall, like if you have to go through a C-section, it's something you just have to be prepared for, and you shouldn't really, like, you know, fear. Things can happen during the C-section, but I think it's okay to, you know, keep calm, because I guess because it's such a big procedure, some things can just happen during the C-section. But obviously you wouldn't want those. And as for my recovery, after like Shokupeta Lumbu and all that, it was, I could say it was more difficult after C-section as compared to natural birth. Like I said, I think it's something your body wasn't really prepared for, and I think there's some, like, you know, hormones that are supposed to be released during natural birth or during birth, and make your body like, no, good, okay, we're now going back to normal. She's going to get a C-section. I mean, yeah, so it took me about 8 months to start feeling like myself again. But after natural birth, I felt like myself again after a week, you know, besides the whole discomfort and everything. So yes, that was my journey. Okay, I hope this video gives some insight or helps someone else who hasn't gone through the experience or went through it and wonders what happened and why it happened. So, okay, thank you guys for making it to the end of the video. We'll see you guys in our next video as we continue to catch up. All right, bye.